All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaroneschenburg here. Honest Aim, bringing you some honest insight about the coronavirus and astrology. All right. So, a lot of people have been reaching out asking me about my interpretation of this and how the astrology reflects this. If you're new to this channel, you're thinking, what does astrology have to do with the coronavirus? Astrology is simply a reflection. As above, so below, and everything that encompasses that reflection happens down here on Earth, right? So nothing and yet everything at the same time. There's four kind of telltales that you can look at the chart and see why, what is happening, what's going on, why it's going to get worse. I'm putting this out right now. It's about midnight here, 11:30, 12 o'clock, Thursday evening into Friday morning. When I'm putting this video out, and it's getting worse and worse and worse as this weekend progresses. When I say worse, I'm not talking about the virus itself. I'm talking about the media and the social frenzy that's going on right now. I just got off the phone with one of my friends who's a mother of two that needed to go to the store to get baby wipes, and the shelves are just empty of everything as people are starting to hoard, and this is turning back into, we had a brownout here. What year was that? It was so long ago, like I'm from Detroit here, and Michigan and New York, there was this huge brownout and people went nuts. It was this big frenzy, and this similar kind of thing is happening right now. So there's four kind of tells in astrology that we knew something like this was coming. It's always a coin toss. We can't say, oh, it's going to be this and it's going to happen exactly this date. But if you've been following my astrology channel, the daily horoscopes, I've been talking about some sort of economic collapse, not just here in the United States, but globally, that was bound to happen here in 2020, right? The first one is Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter entering the sign of Capricorn. Now, the very first, so the coronavirus is SARS, okay, which we've known about SARS since the 1960s, okay? So this is a different version of SARS, or an alteration of SARS. I'm not a doctor. I'm a health practitioner, but I am not a doctor, just to throw that out there. Though I have talked with doctors about this virus, this disease. We'll get to that in a little bit. I want to talk about the astrology first. So the very first documented case of this version of SARS, of this coronavirus, was in China on December 2nd. 41 people were checked into a hospital and confirmed this. Now, I'm going to go to this chart here and show you. Okay, look at the date, December 2nd. Okay, literally is when Jupiter entered the sign of Capricorn. Okay, so Jupiter is a 12-year cycle planet. Okay, so it spends each year in one sign, just about. Okay, so last year in 2019, end of 2018 to 2019, Jupiter was home in its sign of Sagittarius. Okay, Jupiter is our planet of more and our planet of expansion. Whatever it touches, it expands upon. Okay, and it doesn't matter what that is. So often in astrology, we refer to it as the happy-go-lucky planet of more, right? If it's in your second house and we're talking about money, more money's coming in. Okay, and when it's in its home sign of Sagittarius, talking about faith and knowledge, higher learning, education, things like that, it's saying more. It's time to absorb. It's time to absorb information. When it's in the sign of Capricorn, it enters this odd place because Saturn rules Capricorn. Okay, so everything has to answer to Saturn. Saturn is the law of reality. Okay, and the limit. So when we look at Saturn, we can say that's bigger, that's the biggest, that's bigger, that's the biggest, bigger, biggest, ST, Saturnian words. That's it. That's maximum capacity. Okay. There's a lot in here, there's more in this, and that is the most. Okay, ST. This is the limit, the absolute cap. Okay, so when we're talking about Capricorn, the cap is the limit of something. Okay, so we often deal with scarcity when Jupiter enters a sign of Capricorn, because our planet of expansion and wants to have more meets this brick wall and says, no, this is it. This is the limit. and we have to learn to be within our means. Okay, we have to, it's just like there's tons of toilet paper, but how much do you really need to blow your nose or to clean yourself? It's about not being wasteful. When you enter if you follow my channel, go to sweat lodges and all kinds of things like this and staying in proper health. And I thought it was really strange when you go to a sweat lodge, you can't bring a bottle of water in. Right? Now, this can sometimes make individuals sick, but at the same time, it learns about scarcity, and then how thankful you are when that door finally opens and you can leave and you can drink water yet again. All right, so Jupiter in Capricorn is kind of like that sweat lodge where we're reaching our limits, okay? And we have to work within our means. So this frenzy that's going on right now is generated by Neptune. Okay, Neptune rules media, and Neptune is home in its sign of Pisces, where it has been now since the end of 2012, 2013. All right. So let me fast forward now. Let's go a month. Now, before I get to Neptune here, let's do this, because this is extremely important. As you see right here, Saturn-Pluto conjunction in the sign of Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn is not only the limit of things, but it deals with government, not just the United States government. It deals with personal government, how we govern ourselves as individuals, as well as the world at large. Okay, so the government, the world at large, right? So when we have this Saturn-Pluto conjunction that happened in January, okay, this virus started to spread. It was exact here on the 12th, right? The 12th and 13th, depending where you are at in the world. All right, this Saturn-Pluto conjunction, it takes a very, very long time for that transit to happen. Okay, it happens every 33 years. However, this particular time happening in the sign of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, all right, hasn't happened in over 1,000 years. Okay, this is it's something that hasn't happened in a very long time. And again, Pluto dealing with death, destruction, transformation. Okay, Saturn being that brick wall, that limit, the Lord of Karma. Saturn is Kronos in mythology. All right, the Lord that would eat his own children. Okay, so that no one gained power over him. Do you know that story? Old mythology. So we look at Saturn as that in astrology, is one, the limit, and is this karmic, almost malefic kind of character to it. Okay, so when we have Saturn home in Capricorn, place where it's very comfortable, we have Pluto, which takes 244 years to get around the sun. We'll never see a Saturn-Pluto conjunction in the sign of Capricorn ever again. It won't happen again for another 33 years, right? And then it's going to happen, in the sign of Pisces. I think in the sign of Pisces. Either way, the last time that had happened was 1982, okay? We had an economic collapse in 1982. The last time Jupiter was in Capricorn was in 2007 and 2008, which was also a time of scarcity. All right. So these wheels go around and they re-show us or they resurface things that haven't happened in different ways, that haven't happened since that time in different ways, right? So there was a scarcity in 2007, 2008 when Jupiter was in Capricorn. There was a scarcity in 1982 when the Saturn-Pluto conjunction happened in the sign of Scorpio. Now, those are two aspects that are dealing with this and how this is affecting us globally. Like, what is happening right now? All right. Works are getting shut down. Schools are getting shut down. This is government, okay? How we're trading goods between countries is being closed off. Now, we received here in the United States, we receive much of our medication from China. All right. So the fact that we're closing down closing down airlines and this transportation of these medical goods to reach individuals here in the United States, this is death and destruction by the government. Okay. Now, the disease itself is the flu. Okay, there's no vaccination for it here in the United States. They have it in Germany, they have it in South Korea, they have it in other countries. For whatever reason, it is not here, or there's ways to treat it in these other countries. We don't have that here right now. But nonetheless, looking at facts and statistics, I don't want to make light of the situation, but it is certainly not the frenzy that the media is making it out to be. All right. So let's talk about that media thing for a quick second, then we'll get back into the facts. So Neptune deals with media. Neptune is, okay, there's a positive and a not positive side, whatever, a light and a dark side to each sign and each planet, okay? So just like Saturn being home in Capricorn, Neptune is home in Pisces. Again, a connection that hasn't happened in over 500 years, all right? That's a connection that hasn't happened in 500 years. All right, we're redefining the world, redefining self. Now, Neptune deals with our dreams. It deals with our creativity. It deals with our imagination, okay? It deals with the limitlessness. It deals with oneness. These are all on those positive sides of things, this upper part. On the downer part, it deals with confusion. It deals with illusion. We don't know what we're talking about. We don't know what we're looking at. This is a house of mirrors. I don't exactly know how to determine, whatever it is. I don't know how to look at this problem as a viable solution to a situation. Okay? I'm confused. All right? So that's the other drawback and a escape of reality, okay, where we don't know or don't want to be a part of this physical third dimension, which is ruled by Saturn and Capricorn up here, okay, the limit, so this is that oneness, right? So the media is something that is ruled by Neptune itself, okay, so Neptune being home in limitless Pisces, okay, again, adding to this confusion, adding to this stir of we don't know what's going on. And because one person might not know what's going on and is concerned about it or worried about it, this is a giant version of the telephone game that has gone terribly wrong, but at the same time terribly wrong. It's happening exactly as above, so below. You know what I mean? Astrologically, this makes sense of what's happening right now. How we are choosing to deal with it is individual, So what's happening this particular weekend, whenever whoever's watching this, from Friday into Saturday, the moon is in Scorpio, dealing with these deep hidden passion, not only passion, desire, but fear. This stuff that's coming up underneath. Well, I've got to, protect my assets. I've got to protect my home. I've got to protect my family. I've got to protect all these things. And it's just like, but again, we just had a Mercury retrograde. Okay, Mercury's just coming out of this retrograde, which added to this confusion. Mercury's going to be back into Pisces on the 16th of March, which also is one of the weakest spots for Mercury's our planet of communication. So it's one of the weakest spots for Mercury to be in the zodiac is in Pisces, because again, we're looking at that house of mirrors, where on the positive side, it's being intuitive. If we're using our intuition and allowing that to guide us, because we're not going to have a clear-cut answer on something, So we're into this fog, right? So right now we're taking this little bit of time until the 16th that Mercury went back into Aquarius to use technology to help find a solution, which that is going to be some sort of a vaccination for this virus, right? So we're using that 12 days that Mercury's in Aquarius to create something that can globally help us all out during this time of crisis, this global crisis. So then Mercury is going to jump back on the 16th into Pisces, okay, adding more confusion into this. And the closer and closer it gets to Neptune, which I think won't even be until April, somewhere around the 6th or the 10th. I don't have that date right in front of me right now. I mean, we can look for it in a second. But the more closer and closer it gets, Neptune's going to act like this black hole, and the information is going to be so hard to decipher on what's real and what's not real. You're You're going to have my opinion, you're going to have this doctor's opinion over here, you're going to have this expert opinion over here. They might all be very, very different opinions. Doesn't mean none of them aren't valid or real, but it's just like cutting through to figure out what the truth is, or who needs to be worried about this, you know. Now, so that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Jupiter is 1. Again, we can see the cycle of every 12 years this happens, 2007 and 2008. Okay, this happened again. There was an economic downfall. The housing market crashed. Now we can see that in effects right now. Real estate isn't quite there yet, but it's coming. Finances, to like mortgaging, to refinance or mortgage your house, these rates are at an all-time low right now, like 2.5% interest rate. It's crazy. You know, they're shutting down schools. They're shutting down flights. Personally, as a filmmaker, this has hit my industry terribly. You know, every job I've had lined up now through April has just fallen away because of this virus. That is what it is. You know, I was supposed to be filming a basketball game on Friday evening, and I got a call from the director and said, "Hey, it's going to be an empty stadium, no fans, just the basketball game we're filming." Okay, and then I get a phone call today. Hey, they canceled the rest of the season. That's just like, oh my God. And I talked to a friend. Hey, they're trying to cancel schools and go remotely, you know. And it's just like, this is something that we have to worry about, because life goes on, right? This isn't the serious epidemic that the media and the news is saying that it is. I should have started this whole broadcast with that. You know, this is, I wanted to talk about the astrology, but this is not. Lives are being lost, and that's nothing to sweep under the rug. You know, there is care and there is concern for that. There's no question. Okay, a couple days ago on my astrology channel, I did talk about this. There are 26 fatalities from the coronavirus in the United States. There are 4,090 fatalities worldwide from the coronavirus. Okay, there are 3,287 vehicle deaths per day. 3,287 vehicle deaths per day. Okay, that's 1.25 million deaths from vehicles per year, and 20 to 50 million critically injured. All right, we are not, the coronavirus is not the epidemic that the media is letting it out to be. Okay, you have a higher chance of injuring yourself driving to the store, acting like Black Friday to get baby wipes and to get this stuff. I mean, again, it's amazing. My friend just sent me that picture. She had to go to 3 different stores thus far to find wipes for her children because of this overconsumption. Okay, Jupiter, more product. Overconsumption of something to stock for myself. Capricorn deals with self. You know, my limit is me as an individual. I have to make sure me as an individual is secure, me as an individual is safe, and I am taking care of my own, you know, and that's like, we're not conserving for everyone, right? Which is interesting. Now, so Jupiter, Capricorn, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn was layer 2. Layer 3 is Neptune home in Pisces, is adding to the confusion to this whole thing. The media acting, again, like this is a game of not a game, but like, you know, like the telephone game, to where it's just, it's hearsay, and then what starts out is like, oh, this is pretty bad. This is not nearly as bad from a doctor that I've talked to. This is not nearly as bad as a bad year of the flu. Okay. Now, the fourth aspect is Uranus in Taurus. Okay. Uranus in Taurus is a very difficult place. The last time it was there was 1934. Okay. 1934 was the Great Depression. This is also important. We're still going to get to some more like facts here in a minute about the coronavirus, but Uranus in Taurus, 1934. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, adding all to this. I mean, the fifth one would be this Mercury here. You know, look, January 12th, Mercury was at 28 degrees. The day I'm putting this out, That's January 12th, all right? 2 months later, oh, I'm sorry, that was Venus. My bad. Either way, Mercury, 28 degrees here on the 12th. We're very slowly moving through this same space until the 16th Mercury pops out, okay? And then it's going to be into, again, this confusion part of Pisces. All right, so Uranus now here in Taurus, this is a difficult aspect. All right, because Uranus wants to go through a very fast moving. Uranus is radical change, okay? And Taurus is about the old stable, the old familiar. Okay, so we're dealing with a radical change at a very fast pace. All right, and this is what's affecting the money and the economy more so than health or the media or the other things that are talking about here. So this is like long term, over the next 6.5 years. Uranus being in Taurus is going to be affecting our money, and this can be the start, the dominoes really falling over of this economical re-evaluation that we need to do, right? And how we're handling ourselves globally, not just here in the United States. But this deals with the big picture. And again, Uranus moving through Taurus, the Taurus is the stable earth sign of the 3 earth signs, very stable, very grounded, stubborn to a fault in its sense of nature, not saying Taurans are stubborn. They can be. We all can be, right? So this, it's like this fast, erratic ball, this wrecking ball, going through something that just doesn't want to change, and we're holding on for dear life of the old familiar, and we have to let go, in a sense, of the old familiar. We have to let go of how we're absorbing information. One, common sense. Not saying that people that are acting irrationally like this, I mean, it's not as a big of a hype. For one, it does not affect children. Okay, a child can be a carrier of this. A child can be a carrier of this, but they're not going to be the ones with the symptoms. Okay, they might get the cold. Okay, they might get the virus, and then their body's going to the immune system is going to get rid of the virus. Okay, they might pass it on to mom and dad. Mom and dad might get sick, but even then, depending on age and their health, probably aren't going to have fatalities due to this virus. And again, this is coming from a doctor. I wish I had the doctor here with me. I'm working on a talk show right now to make that happen in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. But this is really fatally, it's only attacking people with heart disease, blood pressure issues, and extremely unhealthy diets, and of elderly. Okay, this is not affecting young people. You'll get sick just like you will the flu, and that's it. It is statistically, scientifically proven, and you can look this stuff up. The crazier people get with antibacterial soap, with hand sanitizer, your body does not build up the immunities that it needs to create the antibodies, okay, to fight off bacteria. So the cleaner that we are during a time like this, trying to not get sick, is literally going to set us up to become sick, because our body isn't creating what it needs to be a self-sustaining ecosystem, right? Like we need some of the bacteria. We need some of the dirt. We need, if you look it up, even, like almost everybody gets SARS in their life. Everybody gets this. Okay, this is a slightly different version of that. But this is, it's like chicken pox. You know what I mean? You get it as a child, and then you build up the immunities in your body. You build this up so that you can withstand it. It's kind of your armor to get through it in your older age. Again, this is a variation for it, but again, this is a version of SARS. So in wrapping up a conclusion, did we see something like this coming? Yes. Is the media taking this absolutely out of control, and are people acting like hungry hippos? This is a frenzy. This is like the first to the race gets it. Yes. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. Are the face masks necessary? Absolutely not. Are the gloves necessary? No. If you're going to get it, it's in the air. You're going to get it. You know what I mean? And your body will naturally build up the immunities and rid yourself of this virus. It's a very small percent of individuals, very similar to the flu, where it's actually going to be detrimental to your health. Okay? The majority of people watching this channel, the majority of your peers, even if you get sick, it's not generally fatal. This is less than the flu. Again, that is coming from doctors. I wish I had them here to testify that for themselves. But you're going to hear different point of views and different things throughout this. Now, what I can say is, looking at the astrology, is this going away anytime soon? No. Okay. We're going to continue to see schools close. We're going to potentially see hospitals close, and then that's a shame too. Is it's like, okay, well, a lot of nurses have children, and if those kids, look how this is going to affect everything, the dominoes. Okay, so these nurses have children. The children have to stay home now from school. The nurses aren't going to be there in the doctor's office to be able to take care of the patients. So it's like we have to be wise we have to be strategic in our actions. Whoever's watching this, whoever's watching this video, and to this point at least, we have to be very careful on how we're maneuvering and what we're doing. We can't just sit in like a bomb shelter because of a cold, a very serious cold that's going around. But when we have to look at it, that's what's going on here. This is a very serious cold. This is the flu, which is a very serious cold. This is not a dis-ease like a cancer. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not. We're not just passing cancer out from coughing on one another. And I say that lightly because that's not. I don't want to be insensitive by any means to anyone or anyone's condition or whatever, but we have to really look at that we have allowed this to escalate so much that we're not thinking properly, we're not thinking clearly, and we're not making the smart strategic moves that we need, because what we need is community. Out of all this, staying in our comfort zone, staying in this simple place of staying underneath the covers and wishing it away isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen. And we need people to get together, to unite, to build each other up, to empower each other, to be there for workshops, for classes, for school, for recess, for playing out on the playground. It's not like, oh, I can't take the dog for a walk. I can't take the kids to the park today because of this. I'm afraid my child's going to get it, or I'm afraid. And it's just like, life's got to go on, and we need that community. Otherwise, we're going to get a different kind of sickness by staying inside, and we're losing touch and losing sense of humanity. That's a whole other ballpark right there. That's some Age of Aquarius stuff, where we're sitting behind our computers. This is our only interaction, because I got a gas mask on and I've got a whole rubber suit on so I don't get infected. Like this is like a World War Z zombie movie or something. I don't know. So astrologically, do we see this coming? We saw the effects coming, but we didn't see what the pinpoint was. Now that we understand what it is it going away? No, but also like the cold or like the flu, this is something that is usually seasonal, right? We see it rise up in the wintertime and then end around springtime. With this being a slightly different version, is it going to end around springtime, which is right around the corner? You know what I mean? It's the 13th year when I'm putting this out. The 20th is spring. We're only a week away, right? So is this going to go away in a week? No. Is this going to go away in the next 6 months? Well, we certainly hope so. But being logical, being strategic, and I don't want to be repeating myself here, just not getting caught up in the frenzy. If I can put this in the best conclusion, it's not getting caught up in the frenzy of whatever's going on, that we need to act irrationally, that we need to act out of fear. Okay, it's like the biggest thing. We don't need to act out of fear. We don't need to react out of fear. You know, act smart, eat healthy, wash your hands with normal soap. You know, have a healthy diet. The elderly, protect our elderly, if anything. Our elderly are the ones that are more susceptible to getting this. You know, if you're feeling cold, don't go hang out with grandma this week. You know, then we call her. I love you. I'll see you when I'm feeling better. You know, again, I'm not a doctor, so if you have symptoms, please check your local practitioner. I don't know, my friends. That's the kind of runaround here with astrologically and this event that's going on. We saw this coming in a way. We know that this is going to be here for a little while. We know that this is going to affect our economy greatly. This is affecting work greatly with many, 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 many people. And this is a part of the transformation that's got to go on, that is necessary for us as individuals to transform our lives, because if jobs are going away, and everyone's staying inside from the fear of this virus, again, what's going to happen? 1934, Great Depression. We're going to be isolated inside. We're going to be depressed because we don't have work to go to. We don't have a source of income. We don't have money to spend to go out to do things, to be a part of a thriving economy. And this does deal with our government, our governments worldwide. So we have to find solutions to this as individuals. We are the government, you know. All right, I've been talking way too much here. So stay healthy, drive safe, right? Drive safe, stay healthy, don't text and drive. And thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you're not caught up in all the sickness or the media frenzy. And we'll see you tomorrow.